Hello, everyone. This is Josh Lockheed, Training Evangelist here at QuoteWerks. Hope you're doing well today. You are here today for a feature spotlight webinar on the QuoteWerks email features. We'll be covering a number of different things today, and you'll find that the QuoteWerks email features enable you to communicate directly with your customers through QuoteWerks, and they also enable a number of other different features that are available within the QuoteWerks system as well. So we'll go through a quick overview of all of these different features, and then we will go into a live demo as well. We'll go and show you where to configure as well how to use the different email features that we'll be discussing. From a housekeeping perspective, we do have our GoToWebinar system that we're using to deliver today's webinar. So if you, throughout the course of this webinar, have any questions, there's the questions box available to you. I definitely recommend that if you have a question that comes up throughout the course of the webinar to just pop it in the questions box. I've got it up here on my other screen, and I'll answer your question as quickly as I can. Now, with that being said, there is a possibility that I won't be able to get to a question, or maybe your question won't be answered as fully as you might like it on this short webinar. So with that being said, if at any point you find that there's a question that comes up or you want some additional clarification on anything we cover, send an email over to community@quoteworks.com. I'll get that email and be able to respond to you quickly. Now, in addition to us doing this webinar today, we also always make our webinars available on our website and on YouTube. And you will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours after this webinar, which will include a link to the recording as well. So if you missed something, you have someone on your team that wasn't able to join, just know that the recording will be available for you too. Now, as I mentioned, we'll be covering email features here in QuoteWerks, and typically we like to keep these webinars at about 30 minutes or so, just as again, another housekeeping item. But again, if you have any questions, pop them into the box, and if we need to go a little bit longer, we certainly can. So what are we talking about when we talk about email features in QuoteWerks? We're referring to the ability to deliver quotes. You'll find that you can deliver quotes as a flat PDF via email, or if you wanted, you could also deliver quotes via QuoteValet, which would include a link to their QuoteValet webpage, which is a visual representation of their quote as a web page. You can also use email features to request document review and approval. So we have different systems in place that can either have individuals review a document before it's sent to the customer, or other systems in place that could require an actual individual to go in and approve the document for release to the customer. Both of those are supported by email features, and again, we'll review those in a little bit here. Also, within email features are going to be the ability to email vendor POs. So if you're utilizing the purchasing module to actually send out POs to your distributors, vendors, then this is going to be for you, and we'll show you how you would do that. Also, we have the templates that you can set within the emails to be used by emails being sent from the QuoteWerks system. So we'll review that as well. And within that conversation around email templates, we'll also be talking about how you can use signatures as well. And although it's not listed here, we are also certainly going to also show you just how to set up your email features as well. And it's a really simple process, but we'll review it in detail. So as I mentioned, one of the ways in which we utilize email features in QuoteWerks is to deliver quotes. And as it's represented here on the screen, it can be either a flat PDF like we have there on the left, or on the right there is the interactive QuoteValet web page, which can also be sent via email. It would just be sent as a link in the email for the customer to navigate to. So that is one of the main functions that we have for email in QuoteWerks. Another one that I just mentioned here is the ability to do document reviews and approval. So if you have QuoteValet, you can request peer reviews or document approvals, and those workflows are based on settings that you set. So we'll actually review those in a little bit more detail. And I also have some webinars that have reviewed those in much more detail. If you'd like to, you can go and search the webpage for those as well. Additionally, all the correspondence for the document review and approval, while it's done via QuoteValet, the correspondence itself is done via email. Now, as I mentioned, if you are purchasing through QuoteWerks, you can create and send POs using different templates that you can build within the QuoteWerks system. So if you've ever used the QuoteWerks layout designer, you have the ability to go in there and just like you do your quotes, design your templates, and you can send them off utilizing the vendor maintenance to store your vendor contacts and to actually place those POs with your distributors or vendors. And those POs are going to include all the product costs and description information and are going to be addressed to the vendor contacts that you designate within the QuoteWerks system. Now, while there are different reasons for you to send emails in QuoteWerks, you may have different ways in which you're sending or different reasons why you're sending quotes out, and you want to have some templates to be associated with them. Well, we have the ability to do that in QuoteWerks. So if you wanted to, you could go in and create different templates that can be used via a drop-down menu when sending emails. This is a great way to save you time and effort when you're building those emails. And ultimately, it reduces the time to quote. And this is going to be done first configured in the QuoteWerks system, but then you can select and then send the actual templates from the email window. Now, we're going to show all of that in just a few minutes here when we get into our demos. Now, also on the email templates tab, or where you would go and actually manage those templates, is also the ability to set up different email signatures. Those email signatures can be singular, or you can have multiple ones, and these are going to be the ones that are used on emails that are sent from the QuoteWerks system. So I think that's an important thing to mention here, though I didn't mention it earlier. What QuoteWerks is going to allow you to do is to essentially send emails using your email service directly from the QuoteWerks system. So you configure your QuoteWerks instance to be connected to your email domain, and then any emails that are sent from QuoteWerks will be sent from that email. So it's a really, really sleek option that you have here. And then these email signatures that I discussed, as they're configured on the email template page, they can also be applied to email templates. So depending on the template you're using, you can use a different signature as well. So that is a quick overview of the different things we'll be reviewing here in our demo. And as I mentioned, we're going to keep this conversation relatively short today, but I'm going to go ahead and hop over into QuoteWerks desktop. But also know that a number of the things that we're doing here today are going to be exactly the same as we're doing in desktop as they are in the web. If you are utilizing the web and you have any questions on how it might look in the web, or what's currently available, let me know. We can switch back and forth. I will say that currently the templates and email signatures, as well as setting up document approvals, are things that are currently done in desktop, even if you're utilizing web. But those are soon to be entered into the web domain as well. So just note that until those have been added, you'll just need to hop over into QuoteWerks desktop to, again, configure your templates and your email signatures. So again, here we are in QuoteWerks. I've got a quote here that I've created for a Dell desktop computer, and then we've got our sold to contact in here, Ryan Dan from Computer Hut. First thing that I want to do is show you how you would configure email so that you can actually send emails through QuoteWerks. And the way you would do that is by going to Tools and then My Preferences. And under My Preferences, there's a tab called Email. And there are a couple different ways that you can authenticate utilizing the QuoteWerks email. We've got SMTP, we've got OAuth with Google, Microsoft 365, and Live. And there's also a MAPI option there as well. Most of you are likely going to be utilizing the Google OAuth 2.0 or potentially the Microsoft 365 Google or OAuth 2.0, but you do have those other options available to you. And you can see that we set our return email address here. And then what we've done down on the bottom section here is selected our email method, put in our email address, and connected utilizing OAuth. So I'm not going to go through that process today because I've already got my email set up, but I will test it. And that is just showing us that we are able to get that OAuth token code from Google, meaning that our email is set up correctly. Now, also on the email setup page, we have a defaults tab. So if you wanted to include individuals in your CC or your BCC by default, you could do that. You also have the ability to define what your default subject will be. Now you can see that currently we're pulling from macros in the QuoteWerks system. So we're saying that we want it to be the doc name followed by the doc number. But we could easily adjust those by clicking on this button here and inserting any of the different macros that we might want. Or we can just go and put static text in there as well. Regardless, this gives you the ability to come in and to, again, determine how you want that subject to be displayed on emails being sent out. Now, there is another place that we're going to show you to edit your email signatures, but know that this is one of the areas that you can go to do so. You'll see that we actually have 5 different active signatures here for this user. And if we wanted to edit any one of these, all we need to do is just click on it and click edit. And it's going to open up the edit HTML email signature window for us. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to where these are configured along with templates, but just note that here within our edit window, we have our salutation, and then many of these fields are actually being mapped just like we did with our default subject via macros from the QuoteWerks system. So here we're saying logged in user full name or username, logged in user title, company, full address, phone, email, and those are all being pulled from the active user in the QuoteWerks system. So it would update all of those when the email is actually sent with my name, my title, my company, so on and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and just cancel out of here. There is one more tab here, and this is just where you would set your encoding and to use 8-bit encoding. So this is where you would go to actually set up your email accounts within QuoteWerks, and once you do, you're ready to go ahead and hit the ground running and start sending emails through the QuoteWerks system. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK to get out of this. And the other thing that I wanted to kind of kick off when showing is that you can send generally just quick one-off emails to your customers, and that's done by going to the contact itself. And I'll show you right here. We just clicked into the Sold to, Shipped to tab. I'm going to go ahead and search for a company, and it's going to be Computer Hut. And we're going to go ahead and edit that company by clicking on the company, any one of the entries for that company, and hitting Edit Company. Now notice that in here we've got all of our different users listed. Any of those with an email account associated with it, you just need to select. And then there's a quick email button over here, which allows you to quickly send an email directly to that user. Now you can see when I click that button, we can come in and it's a blank email, but we could just as easily come in, choose a template, and you can see that the email address is automatically being pulled from the contact that we have in the system. So very quick and easy way to just send an email to a contact if you want to engage with them in some way. Now just notice, and I'll show this again down the line, but this is an example of one of the email templates that we have just to kind of show you the different ways that you can edit things. So really all the different options that you have up here to create an email, you're going to have when you're actually building your templates. And you can see there's a lot of different customization that you can do there. And again, we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But I did want to show you again that this is how you would send a one-off email from the QuoteWerks system. You just go in, find your contact, hit the email button, and you're ready to go. Now, one of the main reasons you might utilize email in QuoteWerks is to actually deliver your quotes to your customers. And we're going to kind of go through that process now and show you the different options that you have when doing so. The way that we're going to get to do that is to go and click the Deliver button. And that is how you are going to ultimately deliver your quotes to your customers. So we've created our quote, we've got our items on it, we've got our contact information for our contact, and then we're now hitting the Deliver button to send it to our customer. Now it is going to prompt us here to save the quote, which I'm going to do. And it's going to pop open the Print, Share, Publish, Deliver document window. Now, for those of you that have been using QuoteWerks or maybe have been introduced to QuoteWerks, you're probably familiar with this window. Again, this is where you would go to build the output of your quote that you're going to ultimately share with your customer. And you do that by assigning a cover page, a layout or multiple layouts that are going to ultimately be the way that your products are displayed to your customer. You're going to potentially choose additional literature like information about your company or support agreement, potentially spec sheets from products that you have, or even other supporting materials from the Links tab in QuoteWerks. So this Print, Share, Publish, Deliver document window, again, is the assembly method for putting together your quote and the package that your customer is ultimately going to receive. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and choose the quote minimal template, and we'll just go ahead and preview this to see what it looks like in a PDF version. Now there are two ways that we can deliver quotes that I talked about via email. First one is going to be just standard email, in which case the customer is going to receive an email with a PDF, this PDF attached to it. The other one is going to be via QuoteValet, and it's a little bit different, where the customer is going to receive a link to a virtual representation of this quote. But it's important to mention that that web page also includes a link to this output that we have. So if we decided to include literature, terms and conditions, additional information about our company, it might not be displayed directly on the QuoteValet quote, but there will be a link to the PDF, which will include all of that information. And it is called out in the QuoteValet quote as well. So they are binding as well. If you've got certain terms and conditions, by accepting the quote, the customer is accepting any other terms and conditions included in the PDF as well. So again, this is just a representation of our PDF. You can see we've got long descriptions for all of our products. We've got some pictures, and we are technically ready to go, and this could be sent out to the customer. The way that we would do that if we were delivering just a flat PDF to the customer is we would go on this window, we would build our quote, and we would simply go in and hit email. And just like before, it pops open an email for us, or the email window. We can adjust the subject if we want, although you can see it's currently showing the date and the document number. It is automatically addressed to our sold to contact, and we could come back in and open up a template as well if we wanted. So if you are on a regular basis sending out PDF quotes to your customer, you might want to create a simple template that says, hello, and then the name of the contact. Please see the attached quote that we've created for you. Appreciate the opportunity to bid on this project. If you have any questions, let us know. It could be as simple as that or as complex as you want to make it. So that's one option that we have when it comes to delivering quotes to the customer, is to send them directly here. Now, I just want to also point out that if you are sending this email from the system, you can attach additional information if you'd like. You can also look up additional email addresses from the QuoteWerks system. So we've got information here from the document. We could also look at QuoteWerks users if we wanted to engage another user within QuoteWerks. And we also have all our vendor information here as well. All right. We'll likely talk a little bit more about this window as we'll see it again, but just wanted to introduce you to it and show you how you can send a PDF quote to your customer. Now, alternatively, as I mentioned, we have QuoteValet, and QuoteValet will allow you to actually send, again, a digital version of that quote. So I just came over into the deliver window, and instead of hitting email, hit quote upload to QuoteValet. And here you've got different options. Again, you can view that PDF file. You can set signing options, reminder options. And what we want to do is upload this to QuoteValet. And then what you would do here is you'd hit send email. And again, instead of this being a PDF attachment, what we have here is a link to the QuoteValet webpage, again, being delivered via the QuoteWerks email system. So this is a great option for you. Just another way to send quotes to your customers. And if you have any questions or interest in QuoteValet, I'd recommend reaching out to our sales team, as they can get you a trial for it. So that is how you would deliver via QuoteValet. Again, still leveraging the email features that we have here within QuoteWerks. All right, so this is, again, how you would deliver via QuoteValet if you wanted. And actually, let me hop back over there. One thing that I don't think I did there, which I think lends for us to do, is to just take a look at what that page looks like. We took a look at what the PDF looked like. Let's take a look at what the QuoteValet link looks like. Very similar to our quote that we just provided, and then it has all the same details. As I mentioned, it has a link to the PDF, and then we also have all of our different products here. Now, note to mention, because this is a web page, if we wanted, we could make these products optional. We could give the customer the ability to change quantities. We could create options within options. There's really a lot of interactivity that you can build into these quotes if you'd like to. And as you can see down here as we scroll, you also have the ability to have your customer select payment options, accept the quote, And after clicking click to accept, if you have a deposit payment that's required, they will be prompted to submit that payment at that time. Now, you would need to go through the process of setting up a payment gateway, but we integrate with over 80 of them, so certainly would not be an issue there. So again, this is our QuoteValet webpage, and a little bit different than a flat PDF, but certainly still very viable. And this one is also going to give customers, again, that ability to directly accept it. And there's some other things that we're going to talk about here that are pretty cool too, that are enabled by QuoteValet. I just see a note from Don. It looks like he's gone away from PDF quotes and only use QuoteValet. And he's adjusted the QuoteValet template not to show the PDF, and it's not including email. He's asking, is there a way to bypass the need to upload a PDF of the quote to QuoteValet? Not that I know of, Don. It is automatically included with our templates for QuoteValet. I think the way that you alluded to is probably the best way to do it, which would be going in and editing the template just not to include the PDF. So I think that's an answer to your question. If not, let me know. All right, a copy or question from Carrie is, when I send a quote via QuoteValet, it doesn't give me a copy of that in my sent box. I have been BCC'd a copy to me to add to my sent file as a workaround. Is there a way we can get it set up to copy in my sent file automatically? Yeah, Carrie, that is kind of the expected behavior here because it's being sent out from the QuoteWerks system. But although I don't know a way to do that currently, I can certainly talk to our development team and see what they think, if they have any ways that they might be able to work that into the system. So although I don't have an answer for you, I am going to look into it, and at very least, I'm glad to hear that you have a workaround for now. All right. Now, I did want to also highlight the fact here that we have the ability to communicate with others than just our customer. So if you are utilizing QuoteWerks for purchasing, or I should say manual purchasing rather than electronic POs, if you click on this purchasing button here, and this is really cool. I think some of you that may not have used it in the past may find it pretty interesting, is that here in the purchasing window, you're going to have a list of all of the different products that were included on your different orders. So these are products that have been accepted by the customer and are included on orders in the QuoteWerks system. As you can see up here on the left, we can choose to either filter this down to the currently open order or search multiple orders and select them. I'm going to go ahead and select a vendor and just say D&H. And what we have the ability here to do is to create a PO to be sent to D&H or whoever your selected vendor is, and it includes all of the product and cost information, very clear, for you to actually place that purchase order with your vendor. So what I've done here is I've selected multiple orders, I've filtered via my D&H vendor, and I've decided I want to just purchase the first 3 up here. Now note that down at the bottom it shows that I've met my free shipping minimum of $1,000, which is great. And since there is no... Now, I do want to just mention that we do have electronic ordering available for D&H and other vendors, particularly those that are included in our real time. Now, you wouldn't typically create a manual PO unless, of course, that's the way you want to do it and you don't want to go and create the electronic orders. But needless to say, know that if you have any distributors, the same process would be the way that you would go through this process. So I've selected my products here. Those are the ones I want to include on my PO. I'm going to hit create PO. Again, this is just a note basically saying what I just did, which is, hey, we can submit these electronically. Are you sure you want to create a manual PO? I want to demo that process, so I'm just going to hit yes. And this is where you set all of the things that you'd like for the creation of the purchase order. So you're going to assign a purchase order number. You're going to assign a purchase order date, potentially a ref ID, a flooring account, a description. And then you can come in here and even put in notes as well and opt to export to QuickBooks. You can also come in and put your ship to information in here and copy it from the document if you'd like to do that as well. And when we hit OK, this is going to actually generate that purchase order for us with the products that we selected for the vendor that we selected. And this is going to utilize, again, the email features within QuoteWerks to actually deliver that to our customers. So you can see we have a PO that's been created here in QuickBooks, and we have our actual purchase order that's been created in QuoteWerks. And if we wanted to, we could simply go ahead and email my PO, and that's going to pop open that email window for us once again, except this time it's populated with our purchase order. We're directly here in the window, and you can see it's got our information, it's got our vendor information, it's got our ship to information, our PO number, and then a listing of all the products that we selected along with their unit price and their total. Now, if we had a vendor part number, it would be printed here as well. So very clear, very straightforward, and hitting send would send that over to the vendor. And now notice this is actually the contact information that I have saved in our vendor maintenance. So there's very little that you need to do here rather than just kind of hitting send to get this over to your vendor. If this was not the correct name, you would just go into your vendor maintenance and change that, and you'd be good to go. All right. So that is emailing purchase orders. Another thing that I wanted to talk about here today is how you would set up those templates that we talked about, the email signatures, and then we'll get into document approval and peer review if we have time. So first thing I want to talk about is, again, email templates. And the way that you would do that is by going to Tools and Customize Email Templates. And this opens the Email Template Manager. Now, you may have noticed when I hit that drop down in the email window that I had all 4 of these here for me. And that's because I am currently logged in as the administrator. Now, if you want, you can lock down these different templates by user. But for all intents and purposes, again, I'm the administrator. I have access to all of them. I could come in and easily create a new template or clone a template to create a new template. And all we would be doing is just coming in here and building our template as we would a normal email, right? You have all of the real estate here that you would need. You also have the ability to adjust the formatting of the text, alignment, and a number of different things, also including pictures, links, and other things that you might want to include. And again, a sample email template here gives you an idea of all the different formatting options that you have when it comes to building templates. Now, also here in the templates window is going to be another place. We showed you one of the places where you could edit your signatures, and there are different types of signatures that you can have. You can see there's 5 different signatures, and then we've got our PO signatures as well. All of them can be a little bit different, very much different. It really depends on how you want them to be formatted. But by default, you're going to have these 5 signatures. You can edit them if you'd like. And then, as I mentioned, we've got the purchasing POs or customer order status templates, signatures here as well, because you might want to display different information to your customers versus your vendors versus your internal customers as well. So that's where you would go to set email templates. And so long as you have the rights to use them, they would be available to you in that drop down on the send email window. So that's how you would set up templates and email signatures. And I wanted to just kind of round things out here by talking about one of the other features that's supported by being able to use emails in QuoteWerks, and that is document approvals and peer reviews. Kind of start here with peer reviews. It's actually a very simple thing. I've actually already on this quote submitted for peer review, but we have the button here, which would just say submit for peer review. And when you click that button, it's going to give you the option to send this quote via QuoteValet to another user within your system. So you see it brings up our email window. It indicates that we would like for this to be reviewed with the link to the QuoteValet quote. And it has nothing in the to. So we can go ahead and input whoever we would want in here to actually go in and to give us that review. So I'm going to go ahead and send that to myself. And I'll let that email go out there. Peer review, again, just going to have the individual review the quote. They have the ability to go down within the QuoteValet quote, leave comments, and ultimately provide some feedback to the user that is requesting the review. Now, a little bit higher level when it comes to a review is going to be the approval process, where a quote can't actually be sent until it's been approved. And that is done by going to Utilities and User Maintenance. And this is going to be where we can set the approval thresholds that we want individuals to be held to when creating quotes and orders. So for example, we'll go ahead and select Administrator and select Preferences. Oh, sorry. Actually want to select Administrator and hit Edit. And then over here on the Documents tab is where we have our document approval settings. Here you can set a number of different settings, a number of different layers of approval. So for right now, I'm going to keep this very basic. I'm saying that any document over $1,000 requires a single standard approver, and our approver is going to be Josh. So we'll go ahead and set that. And again, the reason I'm showing this to you is because this whole process is managed via the QuoteWerks emailing features, right? So if we go ahead and come back to our deliver window, you'll see that the total on this particular document is over $1,000. So when we try to actually send out an email, it's going to tell us, hey, you can't do this because it is not within alignment with what you can do. In order to send this out, because it's over $1,000, you need to get approval from Josh. So the way we would do that is right under our peer reviews button, we have request approval. Again, I already did with this quote, but not a problem. We can hit it again. And this is going to send out an email, or give us the ability to format the email that's going to be sent out, where it basically says, very much like peer reviews, would you please approve the quote below for release to the customer? Now, I just thought I would show you real quick what that approval email looks like. So this is the email that we just sent out for approval. The approver would come in, click on the email. It brings them to a QuoteValet representation of the quote. Once they've reviewed the quote, you might want to expand the line item detail to do so. They can come down to the bottom. They can approve or not approve. And you can see that I've actually already approved this document. And you can see that as approvals are made, the notes are included here, and so are any notes that may have been included for peer reviews as well. So as you can see, the peer review and document approval process is supported by the email features in QuoteWerks, and in conjunction with QuoteValet, really provide a pretty solid means of providing document approval and document review. So that rounds out our demo for today. Just taking a quick look to see if we have any other questions that have come in. I haven't seen anything, but if anyone comes up with any other questions, feel free to put them in there. Just to give you a quick overview, we have a number of different resources available to you here at QuoteWerks. We've got the QuoteWerks web help files, videos that are being produced and released on a regular basis. We have our forum. We have these webinars. I think we have 5 webinars this month. So go to events.quoteworks.com and you can see a full list of those. We also have emails that go out on a regular basis once a month that include a feature spotlight. So if you're always looking for new ways to work with the QuoteWerks system, I would suggest Googling tips and tricks QuoteWerks, and it'll bring you to our sign up there, and you'll get an email once a month with a highlight of a different feature. And as I mentioned as well, you can always reach out to us. That can be myself at community@quoteworks.com, our technical support team, our sales team. I think one of the things that really makes QuoteWerks great is its people, and I certainly recommend you reaching out whenever you might have any questions or just want to work with our team. So with all of that being said, I really appreciate everyone's time today. Again, I haven't really seen any questions come in, so we'll go ahead and close out today's webinar. Really appreciate your time, and if any additional questions come in, community@quoteworks.com will be the place to send them. Thanks again, and hope everyone has a great day.